How many times a day do you see the sun? And how long do you go out in the sun for? That may not always be up to you, if you live in the Midwest or Northeast, but just think about how much UV you're actually getting on the average day. And on that same note, think about how often you're going outside at all. Is your whole day spent inside under LED lights? Are you stuck in an office all day? If you're a full adult with a strict schedule for work, this is probably unavoidable. But for college students, high school students, and younger people in general, you can, for the most part, affect how often you're getting outside. And I'm here to tell you that given the research and given my personal experience, getting outside, especially when the weather is nicer, is actually one of the most beneficial things for your mental health, your mood, and your well-being. And even if everyone knows that, I think it's actually underrated the benefits it can provide, and I'll explain that. I've reaped so many benefits that I now look for excuses to go outside and breathe fresh air and see the sun. You just have to go outside and get on a bike or scooter or just walk through fresh air while listening to nice music, and that will lift the mood of your entire day. Now let's go into specifics about what this all means. So what are the specific benefits of outdoor maxing, as I like to put it, like this? The two main components here are obviously the sun and the air you breathe. And this is possible to experience even in the wintertime. So starting with the sun we know gives immaculate benefits through vitamin D. The UVB rays from the sun trigger your skin to make vitamin D. This isn't only good for your bones, but also for your immune function, your inflammation reduction, and regulating your blood pressure. Sunlight also regulates your circadian rhythm, which can reset a tired morning. Sunlight also boosts serotonin production, lifting your mood. Sunlight's known to reduce stress via endorphins, reduce depression, and overall make you happier. And we know for a fact that humans on average are seeing the sun less, which is sad because it effectively means we're just going to be less happy. And I get that the point of life is not always to be happy, but sunlight is designed to make us feel better, so why avoid it? And now let's talk about fresh air. In addition to outdoor air letting your lungs dilate more fully, it also contains these things called phytoncides, which are released by trees and plants. It reduces inflammation, fights bacteria and fungi, helps you breathe better, gives boost to your natural killer cells, which helps your immune function. But also the air in general lowers your cortisol, which I know is something that most people are going to want, especially nowadays. It lowers your blood pressure and overall just makes you chill out more. And this is even true in the winter. Now, I could go on all day with the plethora of benefits from sunlight and fresh air, but you probably know most of that already. I made this video to encourage you to find explicit times in your day when you can get outside and either simply stand and feel the wind blow or move around and enjoy the scenery. And you may think that's obvious, I walk outside to go to class or I walk outside to go to my work, but just find an explicit time and make it explicit that you're going outside to experience the outdoors and not just to go somewhere you need to go. And I'll explain that. Find areas with a lot of nature and walk around there and appreciate the beauty of the place you're in. And I have some personal experiences to share that I think will help put this into perspective as opposed to something as simple as like walking to class, right? So the first time I realized the health benefits of nature was in my first year of college when I walked out of class and saw the trees turning red in the fall. The wind was blowing cool air and the sun was setting, which made the whole sky look yellow. This is, of course, a sight not seen often, right? Not every day is going to be so perfect. But it made me realize that even just looking at nature lit up by the sun lifted my mood for the whole day. I had a random boost of euphoria from that and went home happier than ever that day, despite this being a time in my life where I was typically stressed and insecure about it. The next time I experienced this was 2 years later. So it had snowed about 17 inches or so where I was. Classes were canceled. I couldn't drive anywhere, and honestly, I could barely walk anywhere given how much ice covered the sidewalks. I was stuck inside for days. But 2 days of being stuck inside sucked. I realized how much I needed the outdoors, even if it was miserable. So I decided I was going to take a risk, and I walked outside. And to be honest, it's not a real risk given that I'm still a young person who's able to control my steps and walking, but I walked outside for a little bit regardless. It may have been below 20 Fahrenheit, but it was an amazing walk. I almost tripped a few times, but smelling the cold, crisp air while walking around completely turned my whole day around. I was suddenly happy to be alive again. My brain reset and I felt revitalized because I was stuck in the house for 2 days. What was I supposed to do? Even in the most miserable weather, I was able to restore my well-being by going outside, which shows that the first time I experienced this in that beautiful fall day wasn't just a luck of the draw. Even if the weather sucks, going outside and breathing in that fresh air is incredibly underrated. So yes, even if it's raining, even if it's snowing, even if it's cloudy and gross outside, just go outside and breathe in that air and you'll notice the differences immediately. Now, there are countless more times this happened to me, but the most memorable one as of late is the one that I'll share now. I had finished my first task of the day early, and I had some time to kill to get food and then go to my class. And the weather was getting nice for the first time after a long and cold winter. And so I decided to take one of those VO scooters to get to the dining hall on the other side of campus. Now, I was already happy feeling the wind blowing, the sun shining, and my music playing in my headphones. But then I took a wrong turn and I ended up in a lane that was closed off for traffic somehow. But still, I kept going until I realized that I actually wouldn't be able to continue in that lane because it's closed off, right? So I decided to take a detour and go through some side neighborhoods to get to the dining hall because I thought, I have time, why not just take the long route? Why not just enjoy this ride? The trees were blowing, I could see cozy houses with nice gardens, the road was empty, and it was just me and nature. Now, people may say riding VOs around campus is cringe or stupid, or they may say I'm over-fantasizing this experience, but this 5-minute VO ride literally made my entire day better. I don't even remember what else happened that day but that ride on the scooter, and that's literally all that matters to me. The highlight was just going outside and loving the environment around me, and that was enough to make my day better. So not only does going outside and experiencing the natural world provide real health benefits that you can measure in a lab, but it can truly make your life better on a day-to-day basis. Now, this requires two things to accomplish effectively, right? It's not so simple as just walking outside and then thinking, oh, I guess my day sucks, but I'm going to try and breathe in. Sure, that may help, but to do this perfectly, at least in my experience, it requires two things. The first is a good attitude about your surroundings, which can be done through good music. So, for example, if you have a good song playing, your mood kind of naturally leans toward a better and more positive outlook, right? So good music can help change your mindset about your surroundings, can make you feel happier about them. You can change your mindset on its own and just think, you know what, I actually do like this place. Or maybe you just weren't paying attention before and you should just pay more attention to the beauty of the area around you. And secondly, this requires that you make an explicit time to go outside. And that time can be between classes, when you have to walk outside. But find a longer break where you're not rushing between classes to take a longer walk outside. Or if you have time, take a detour with your scooter or bike. And if you can avoid driving around, try to avoid driving, or at least drive with the windows down. But the emphasis is on walking outside and being outside and experiencing the fresh air without having to think about other things, which, of course, that's an ideal situation. We can't all be in that. But try your best to just enjoy the time you have outside before you have to go back inside and do what you have to do. Make sure you're enjoying the time you spend outside before you completely forget about it. The natural world is beautiful and you should enjoy it whenever you can. And as always, stay mindful and I'll see you all in the next episode.